But getting back to this question, so he says, in the short term, the stock market is a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. And he goes, my question is, with that valuable mindset, in the short term, the market's voting machine. In the long term, at what point do we accept the unfavorable long-term price as the true weighted price? If was able to remove emotion and look at the chart, it becomes clear that BABA at 320 was a short-term voting price and the sub 80 is the long-term weighing price. And this is indicative of someone who has done zero research and zero homework and is buying on the basis of chart patterns or price patterns, or I don't even know what. But what I can tell you is the free cash flow yield. Look, in my world, I think about publicly traded stocks the same way that I think about privately traded businesses, privately traded asset, and that is free cash flow is the name of the game. Everything else is bullshit. Okay? It's noise, it's fantasy. It's because the only reason you get involved in any investment is so that at the end of a reasonable amount of period, 3 years, 5 years, you have significantly more cash than when you got in. And then the question is, in the public markets, what multiple do you pay for that opportunity? And if, like NVIDIA, you pay 51 times sales, like it traded up to right before we put that article out on Thursday, before the stock pretty much collapsed in 3 days, then you set yourself up for big risks. If you pay 8 times cash flow or 5 times cash flow or 10 times cash flow, and the cash flow is recovering and growing, that's when you can make massive multiples of money. So as it relates to a bottoming process taking a year and a half, if you want outsized returns, that's what a bottoming process takes. And, we can go company by company, but let's look at BABA is a perfect example of BABA, okay, which is this major bottoming process from 2014 to 2017 took 2.5 years, and then you got a double and then you got a triple. Here was a secondary bottoming process that took 2 years from 2018 to 20. So here we are, 2022 to 2024. We could have another 3, 4, 5 months. I don't think so. I'm going to tell you why. There's an enormous catalyst in the middle of July 15th to July 18th, and then the secondary catalyst in August through September when they do the dual primary listing and bring in 180 million more of buyers. But, if you want to just ignore fundamentals, which we would never, the point that I'm making is, if you do not have a basis for owning a stock on estimates of free cash flow, either current or future, that are realistic, and you're paying a reasonable multiple, you have no business owning any stock or owning any company, because sooner or later you're going to get your head ripped off, like these folks in GameStop that were chasing price and shiny objects, like these folks in NVIDIA. And I'm not saying NVIDIA is going to hell in a handbasket. It's definitely going to take a break. I will say you're going to see some charts that I'm going to show you showing that the amount of people that were buying the top was mind-boggling, and the amount of people that were buying call options at the top. So they've lost all their money, 100% of it, buying the exact wrong thing at the exact wrong time, because they're trying to get rich quick, and in many cases they're doing it on margin. And those are the twin killers. Like Munger said, ladies, liquor, and leverage. I'm all for ladies, but one is plenty. You get the right one and stick with it. Multiple will get you in trouble. Liquor, anything in moderation, not my big thing, but have a beer after a round. And leverage, and I'm anti-leverage. I mean, we use very, very minimal leverage, which is why we can sit through these things with absolutely no problem and sleep like a baby, because we're not checking price. We're checking underlying business value, i.e., in the last 30 days, has anything materially changed that cash flow is going to be impaired or diminish its ability to go up? And in the case of all of our portfolio companies, the answer is No, for the vast majority of them, they've already troughed in 2023 with the destock restock cycle. And for the ones that don't meet those criteria, in each case, their cash flow is on the mend, going up versus down. And we were able to buy at prices that implied that their cash flow was going to be negative forever when they've all inflected to positive. And that's how fortunes are created. The problem is they're not created in 3 weeks or 3 months. It usually takes 3 to 5 years to get outsized returns, and you have to accept short-term volatility. If you can't handle that, stick your money in ETFs and go to the beach and just accept that your money is going to compound every 10 years. It'll double at 7% and call it a day and stick to your primary work. But, I'm not trying to really beat down, but I think there are enough people that have this mindset, and just know that if you always have a choice in life. You can stick to that mindset and stay poor, or you can adopt the mindset of Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger with patience and doing the work and get rich over time and meaningfully rich. And then if you want to become wealthier, all you have to think about is, how do I create more value? Okay, so right now, I wake up every single day saying, how am I going to make my clients $30 to $40 million this year? Okay, in 5 years, I'll be saying, how am I going to make my clients $300 to $400 million this year? That's going to be my goal, to become more valuable for them, and everything else takes care of itself. And that's my best advice to all of you starting your careers at our mid-career. If you want to get more, all you have to do is deliver more value. If you want to raise, just say to yourself, how much value am I providing to the enterprise, to the business? Am I indispensable? What can I do to become indispensable? What can I do to make the enterprise more value? What can I do to make the clients of the business happier, more satisfied, more money, more value, etc.? And you'll never have to worry about asking for compensation because you'll be in hot demand. And that's the name of the game. So